Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a super simple 8-word phrase, and we're going to put it under a very specific, highly analytical lens. We're talking risk, probability, and actuarial science. We're totally stepping away from those fluffy motivational cliches and diving straight into the cold, hard math of how the universe actually rewards human effort. It's going to be a fun one, so let's dive right in. Okay, so here it is. The harder I work, the luckier I get. We've all heard this phrase, right? It's on coffee mugs, inspirational posters. Maybe your grandpa used to say it. But what if it's not just a catchy idiom? What if it's literally a mathematical formula hiding in plain sight?
To figure that out, we're going to look at those 8 words through the lens of my 30 years of experience in actuarial science and risk assessment. Now, if you're not super familiar, an actuary spends decades calculating risk, analyzing statistical anomalies, and building complex models to predict the completely unpredictable. We deal strictly in data, exposure, and probability. And today, we're applying that exact same analytical rigor to our source text.
All right, part 1, the equation of chance, treating adages as mathematical correlations. Take a look at this, because it perfectly captures the big divide in human perception. To the layman, everyday folks, luck is magic. It's fate or total randomness that just strikes out of nowhere. But a risk assessor, we look at that exact same phenomenon and see probability, variance, and mitigation. To a seasoned actuary, luck absolutely isn't a mystical blessing. It is simply a manageable variance within a system. Moving right along to part 2, defining the variables, deconstructing work and luck. First up is our independent variable, hard work. Now, from a strict risk management perspective, this isn't just about sweating or mindlessly clocking hours. No, it is the intentional, consistent energy expenditure designed specifically to shift probability distributions in your favor. Think of it as the deliberate force you apply to physically move the bell curve of your life closer to success. And then we have our dependent variable, luck. When you strip away all the superstition and folklore, luck is simply favorable variance within a probabilistic universe. It's a positive statistical anomaly. It's like, if you roll the dice enough times, eventually you're going to roll double sixes. Our original quote is essentially claiming that we actually have a say in when those double sixes appear. Which brings us to part 3, redefining luck as probability, the measurable surface area. So, think about any endeavor you undertake. You face a whole universe of potential outcomes. Now, roughly 25% of that is uncontrollable variance. It's pure chance. We can literally never completely eliminate the possibility of a random setback or a total fluke. However, that massive 75% remainder, that is controllable risk, and it's completely governed by your effort and preparation. By applying really focused effort, you drastically shrink that slice of pure chance, giving favorable variance a nice, stable platform to land on. Actuarial luck actually has 3 defining traits. First, it's measurable. Second, it absolutely requires exposure to opportunity. You cannot experience a favorable variance if you aren't exposed to the system in the first place. And third, it deeply favors high-frequency attempts. If you want to encounter a positive statistical anomaly, you've got to relentlessly put yourself in a position for it to happen over and over again. Let's look at part 4. The direct correlation, the dynamic. We can literally map out this implied causal loop step by step. Step 1, you expend targeted effort. You do the work. Step 2, that specific effort actively expands your opportunity surface area. You make more calls, you write more code, you meet more people. Step 3, because your surface area is now significantly larger, you mathematically must encounter favorable variance. You experience what everyone else just calls luck. So the effort physically manufactures the actual space required for positive probability to strike. It's a total game changer. And when we plot this out, a direct, undeniable correlation emerges. With your level of work on the x-axis and lucky outcomes on the y-axis, check this out. As the level of work scales up, the outcomes don't just grow in a slow, straight, linear line. No way. They increase exponentially. Scaling up your work acts as an absolute multiplier on the frequency of favorable outcomes. Part 5. The risk assessor's conclusion, maximizing positive probability. Here's the big takeaway, folks. Getting luckier is not some passive state of being. It definitely isn't a magical gift from the universe. It is simply the mathematical, inevitable result of shifting the entire probability curve in your favor through relentless, targeted effort. You are, quite literally, systematically engineering your own statistical anomalies. Which brings us right back to our original 8 words. The harder I work, the luckier I get. But armed with a risk assessment mindset, this is no longer just a simple cliché. It's a factual statement about risk management, opportunity surface area, and undeniable mathematical truth. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you just sitting around waiting for luck, or are you actively working to manufacture it? Because as we've seen from our actuarial deep dives today, the math absolutely does not lie, and that curve is entirely yours to shift. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep pushing those probabilities, and I'll catch you next time.